What if we could communicate from brain to brain? Imagine a world where you no longer need to speak, text, or write emails to convey your thoughts. With just a fleeting idea, others can instantly understand what you're trying to express. No more language barriers, no more misunderstandings due to phrasing, and no more distance between minds. Thought-based communication, once confined to the realm of science fiction, is gradually becoming a reality, thanks to advances in neural technology. But what would happen if, one day, humans could connect their brains directly? Would the world become hyper-connected? Or would this open the door to unprecedented challenges? Let's explore the future of brain-to-brain communication and its potential impact on humanity. Imagine effortless communication. Picture yourself sitting across from a friend. But instead of speaking, both of you simply think of your responses. And the other person instantly understands every nuance of your thoughts. No need for words or writing, every idea, emotion, image, and even memory could be shared in an instant. The breakthrough in brain communication. Brain-to-brain communication, BBC, is becoming a reality. Driven by breakthroughs in neuroscience and artificial intelligence, neural interface devices, such as Elon Musk's Neuralink, have already demonstrated the ability to read and decode brain signals. In the future, these devices could transmit thoughts as easily as we send messages today, but hundreds of times faster. Instead of typing a message or speaking out loud, a brain interface system would convert your thoughts into electrical signals and transmit them directly into the recipient's brain. This would eliminate language barriers, speech limitations, or writing constraints. Essentially, an English speaker could transmit thoughts to a Vietnamese speaker without needing translation, because thoughts themselves transcend linguistic boundaries. Empowering those who cannot communicate. One of the most profound applications of this technology is helping individuals with communication disabilities, such as patients with locked-in syndrome, ALS, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, or paralysis. Currently, BCI, brain-computer interface, devices allow some patients to control a cursor or type using their thoughts. As this technology evolves, they will not only be able to express ideas but also interact with others more quickly and naturally than ever before. Furthermore, this innovation offers new hope for individuals with hearing or visual impairments. Instead of learning sign language or relying on assistive devices, they could connect with the world directly through thought. A deaf person could hear through a neural network that converts sound into conceptual information. A blind person could see by receiving visual data directly into their brain's visual cortex. Communication at unprecedented speed. A typical conversation occurs at about 150 words per minute, while the average person can think 4 to 5 times faster than that. If instant thought transmission becomes possible, human communication will be exponentially more efficient than it is today. This could completely revolutionize how we learn, work, and create. Imagine a meeting where every participant can exchange ideas within seconds, or a classroom where teachers can upload knowledge directly into students' minds. Scientists could collaborate across the world without needing reports or emails. Couples in love could feel each other's emotions without ever having to put them into words. This technology wouldn't just be a communication tool, it would be a revolution in how humans connect. But would a world without language barriers be truly perfect? Or would it introduce challenges we've never faced before? A world of instant knowledge transfer. Now, imagine a world where you can absorb knowledge instantly. Much like a computer downloading data from the internet. No more spending hours reading books, attending lectures, or practicing skills, just a neural connection. And the information is directly embedded into your mind. This wouldn't just accelerate personal learning but would completely transform how humans collaborate and innovate together. Instant knowledge sharing, eliminating learning barriers. Today, learning depends on study time, memory retention, and access to information, but with brain-to-brain communication, knowledge could be transferred instantly. A surgeon could download an entire new surgical technique without years of training. An engineer could instantly understand how to operate a complex machine without reading a manual. An artist could acquire a new painting style in just minutes. This means that traditional learning, based on books, lectures, and practice, could be replaced by a more efficient method, directly transferring knowledge from one brain to another. Imagine participating in a critical strategic discussion. Instead of spending hours explaining ideas, each team member could share their entire thoughts with one another in just seconds. This would make meetings more effective, minimize misunderstandings, and accelerate decision-making, enhancing collaboration, creating a collective superintelligence. If every individual brain could connect in real time, humans could function as a networked system, processing information far beyond the capacity of any single person. Research teams, tech companies, and even governments could make more accurate and efficient decisions by sharing data without being constrained by language barriers, skill gaps, or time limitations. An international scientific council could collaborate to solve complex issues such as climate change or regenerative medicine without spending years exchanging data. Programmers worldwide could develop software together without needing to communicate in a specific programming language. Rescue teams could coordinate emergency responses without relying on radios or signal relays. Accelerating human progress. If all human knowledge could be accessed instantly, the pace of technological, scientific, and artistic advancements would explode exponentially. A scientist wouldn't need to review past studies. They could instantly access the entire dataset from millions of other minds. Groundbreaking discoveries in medicine, quantum physics, or artificial intelligence could be accelerated by decades, even centuries. Imagine a society where every individual could contribute to collective intelligence, propelling humanity forward at an unprecedented rate. But would connecting minds truly be a purely positive advancement? Or would it introduce unforeseen risks regarding security and privacy? The power of thought-controlled technology. Imagine simply thinking about an app, and your computer opens it automatically. You could drive a car without touching the steering wheel or control a robot remotely without using a keyboard or joystick. This is no longer just science fiction. It is becoming a reality thanks to brain communication technology. With advancements in brain-computer interface (BCI) technology, humans can directly connect their brains to electronic devices, allowing thoughts to become commands without intermediaries like keyboards, mice, or touchscreens. This not only unlocks unprecedented capabilities for the general population but also provides life-changing opportunities for people with disabilities. Today, BCI technology has already demonstrated the ability to let people control computers and robots using only their thoughts. Some real-world applications currently being researched and developed include mind-controlled computers. You could browse the web, compose emails, or play video games without using your hands. EEG, electroencephalography, sensors or implanted microchips can read electrical signals from the brain and translate them into on-screen commands. Thought-powered driving. Scientists have developed systems that allow drivers to think about turning left or right, and the vehicle responds accordingly. This is especially useful in emergencies where reaction time is crucial. Smart device control. Lights, fans, TVs, air conditioners. Every smart home device could be controlled simply by thinking. No need for remote controls. Just think, turn on the lights, and the system will automatically comply. At the current rate of development, we may soon see these technologies become mainstream, optimizing user experience and reducing reliance on traditional control methods, restoring mobility and independence for the disabled. One of the most meaningful applications of BCI technology is restoring physical control to people with disabilities. Advances in intelligent prosthetics have made the following possible. Thought-controlled prosthetic limbs. Instead of relying on muscle movements, users can control robotic arms with their thoughts. This provides a more natural experience, allowing them to perform daily tasks such as grasping objects, writing, or even playing musical instruments. Restoring mobility for paralyzed individuals. Devices like exoskeletons connected to the brain allow those with mobility impairments to walk again simply by thinking about movement. Communication for fully paralyzed individuals. For those who cannot move or speak, brain-computer interfaces (BCIs) can help them communicate by converting thoughts into text or synthesized speech. This is a major breakthrough in assisting individuals with ALS, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, or spinal cord injuries to connect with the world around them. The future potential of brain implants. With the rapid advancements in artificial intelligence, eye, and brain implant technology, such as Elon Musk's Neuralink, the idea of controlling everything with thoughts is no longer just science fiction. Some potential future applications include direct communication with AI. Instead of typing commands into a computer, humans could connect to AI and control it with their thoughts. A revolutionary virtual reality experience. Imagine immersing yourself in a virtual world without the need for VR headsets. Your brain would generate the entire experience just by thinking. Remote-controlled robotics. Astronauts could operate robots on Mars from Earth using only their minds, making space exploration more efficient. BCI technology is ushering in a new era where humans don't just use technology, they merge with it. However, is controlling devices with our minds completely safe? Or does it introduce risks to security and privacy? This is a crucial question that must be addressed before this technology becomes a part of daily life. The privacy risks of brain communication. We are accustomed to protecting our personal information online through encryption, two-factor authentication, and VPNs to conceal our IP addresses. But if brain communication technology becomes widespread, what happens when our very thoughts can be read or even stolen? Imagine a world where others could access your thoughts without your consent. Your private ideas, hidden memories, and deepest secrets, things you've never spoken aloud, could be exposed if this technology falls into the wrong hands. In such a scenario, privacy wouldn't just be at risk, it could be completely eradicated. Currently, hackers can steal data from phones, computers, and bank accounts, but in the future, if BCIs become mainstream, a new type of cybercrime could emerge: mind hacking. Potential threats of mind hacking. Eavesdropping on thoughts. If someone infiltrates your brain interface, they could read your thoughts without asking. This would be particularly dangerous in fields like politics, military intelligence, or finance, where confidential information holds immense value. Manipulating thoughts. Hackers might not only read your thoughts but also implant false ones into your brain. You could believe an idea is your own when, in reality, it has been externally planted. This could lead to cognitive manipulation, behavioral control, or even the creation of false memories. Blackmailing through thought extraction. If an organization gains access to your private memories, they could use them to threaten or coerce you into actions against your will. Imagine a mind virus, where your consciousness is hacked. Similar to how a computer gets infected with malware, you could be forced to act without realizing it. Or worse, your thoughts could be controlled, leaving you powerless to resist. How can we protect our brain's privacy? If brain communication technology becomes a reality, we will need stronger security measures than we have today. Some possible solutions include thought encryption. Just like how internet data is encrypted, BCI devices must develop safeguards to prevent unauthorized thought access. Brain authentication. Similar to entering a password or using fingerprint scans for online accounts, future BCIs may require brain authentication to ensure only the rightful owner can access their thoughts. Offline mode for the brain. Just as we turn off Wi-Fi or Bluetooth to prevent cyber attacks, BCIs should have a disconnection mode to keep our thoughts private when not in use. Legal regulations. Governments and international organizations must establish laws to protect mental privacy, similar to current data protection regulations like GDPR. While technology offers incredible possibilities, without proper safeguards, it could also become the greatest privacy nightmare in human history. Do we really want this? Every technological advancement comes with its downsides. Brain communication could enhance human connectivity and efficiency, but it also poses the risk of turning personal thoughts into public data. The big question is, Are we truly ready to trade our mental privacy for instant connection? And if one day, your thoughts are no longer solely yours, what will you do to protect yourself? Imagine a world where your thoughts are no longer entirely your own. You believe you're making decisions based on free will. But in reality, someone may have already altered your perception. With the advancement of brain-computer communication, this scenario might no longer be science fiction but a real threat. Brain-computer interface, BCI, technology promises groundbreaking benefits. But if it falls into the hands of governments, corporations, or organizations with malicious intent, it could become the most powerful tool for thought control in human history. Today, governments already use sophisticated methods to influence public perception, ranging from information censorship and propaganda through the media to social media algorithms that shape public opinion. But if brain-computer communication evolves to the point where thoughts can be implanted directly into people's minds, the ability to control perception would surpass all previous limits. Potential risks: mass brainwashing. Governments or organizations could program citizens' thoughts from childhood, making them believe in and accept only one ideology. Behavioral control. Rebellious thoughts and dissenting opinions could be erased at the cognitive level, eliminating people's ability to resist or question authority. Memory alteration or erasure. This technology could not only control new information but also modify existing memories, allowing history to be rewritten according to the controller's will. If this seems far-fetched, consider how easily human thoughts are already influenced by external information. Psychological studies have shown that our memories are not fixed, they can be distorted or changed simply by exposure to false information. If a government could manipulate people's thoughts from within, would independent thinking even be possible anymore? The rise of neuromarketing. Advertising companies already spend billions of dollars each year trying to influence consumer behavior. However, all current marketing strategies, whether through TV, social media, or user data analysis, are still limited by the way humans receive information. If brain-computer communication advances, companies would no longer need to persuade you through images, sounds, or content. They could implant thoughts directly into your brain, making you naturally feel the urge to buy a product, even if you had never considered it before. The danger doesn't stop at marketing, it could extend into political and social domains. Propaganda campaigns could directly program people's beliefs, making them trust a politician or regime without any logical reason or evidence. Fake news could be implanted into minds without verification, distorting reality according to the manipulator's intentions. Societal polarization could be pushed to extremes, as individuals with opposing viewpoints might never be exposed to neutral information. If one day you suddenly feel an unexplainable admiration for a politician, a product, or a particular idea, how would you know whether that thought was truly yours? Are we trading too much? As technology advances, control over information no longer remains in the hands of users. If brain communication becomes a widespread tool, we may lose the ability to think independently without even realizing it. The question is, are we willing to trade our freedom of thought for a more efficient society? And if one day you can no longer distinguish between your own thoughts and those that have been implanted, will you still be yourself? The risk of thought overload. Imagine being able to hear everyone's thoughts, not just their words, but also their emotions, memories, and deepest intentions. At first, this might seem like an unprecedented level of connection between humans. But could our brains handle an endless stream of thoughts from millions of others? If brain communication becomes a reality, information overload and psychological disorders could become one of the greatest risks we face. Without a clear boundary between personal thoughts and external influences, humans may lose their ability to distinguish themselves from the world around them. The human brain is not designed to process countless streams of information simultaneously. On average, a person has around 6.000 thoughts per day. If a neural communication network connects multiple people, the amount of information would multiply exponentially, pushing the brain into a constant state of cognitive overload. Imagine being in a crowded room where everyone is talking at the same time. If there is no way to filter or block out certain thoughts, you would be overwhelmed by a never-ending storm of information. Some potential consequences include severe lack of focus. Processing too many thoughts at once prevents the brain from distinguishing important information. Reducing logical thinking and decision-making abilities. Increased risk of stress and anxiety. When the brain is overwhelmed with multiple thought streams, the body reacts as if it's in danger, triggering the stress hormone, cortisol, leading to heightened anxiety and insomnia. Mental disorders. In severe cases, continuously receiving others' thoughts can disrupt the brain's ability to self-regulate, potentially causing hallucinations or delusions, conditions often seen in individuals with schizophrenia. Without a mechanism to control information, brain communication technology could turn humans into victims of their own minds. The threat to personal identity. One of the core aspects of human identity is personal thoughts and memories. Who we are is shaped by our unique experiences, perspectives, and accumulated thoughts. But if you constantly hear other people's thoughts, would you still be yourself? Imagine a day when you can no longer distinguish between your own thoughts and those of others. If you are overly exposed to external thoughts, you may lose your personal opinions and perspectives. When your thoughts are influenced by thousands of external ideas, your ability to make independent decisions may gradually fade. Become part of a collective mind. If everyone shares thoughts, would there still be a distinction between individuals and society? Humanity could become a single, unified network of consciousness, eliminating personal freedom of perception. Experience memory distortion. Absorbing too many thoughts may blur the boundary between personal and external memories. You might believe you've lived through an experience that, in reality, belongs to someone else and was simply transmitted to your brain. Without a system to separate individual thoughts from external influences, people could gradually lose their own identities. The need for strict controls. To prevent the negative consequences of brain communication, this technology must include strict control mechanisms. Thought filters. An AI system could help filter out unwanted thoughts, similar to how we curate content on social media. Privacy controls. Users must have the ability to turn thought sharing on or off at will, just as we choose to send messages or remain silent. Limited connections. To prevent mental overload, individuals should only be connected to a small number of people instead of receiving thoughts from millions at once. However, even with protective measures in place, the biggest question remains: can humans truly control their minds once they are connected to millions of other brains? A future of connected minds. Brain communication technology is no longer a distant fantasy. Elon Musk's Neuralink is developing brain-machine interfaces capable of transmitting information from the human brain to computers. If this technology continues to evolve, we could see a future where thoughts are shared like data on the internet. But the real question is, are we ready to trade control over our own minds for full connectivity? Would you want to hear other people's thoughts? More importantly, would you want others to hear yours? Technologies like Neuralink are gradually advancing toward brain-to-brain communication. At present, we can connect brains to computers, but direct brain-to-brain communication remains a major challenge. If this technology succeeds, it could create a hyper-connected society where people share emotions, memories, and knowledge in entirely new ways. Brain communication technology has the potential to usher in a new era of possibilities. But it also presents unprecedented risks concerning privacy, identity, and mental health. Are we truly prepared for a world where thoughts are no longer private? What do you think about this topic? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to support us.